I'm going to start by saying the thing that trips up the most people looking for a home theater sub is the gap between what the spec sheet promises and what you actually feel on movie night. You've probably seen a few subwoofers that look amazing in the photo, sound like they'll shake the whole room, and then when you plug them in they either sound thin, or they're so hungry they end up throttling the rest of your system. That's the frustration I'm trying to save you from today. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon, because I want to be clear about what you're actually getting before you click Add to Cart. The SVS PB3000R Evolution pair is marketed as a 13-inch long-throw driver with a 1,200 watt continuous Class D amp and a peak output north of 4,000 watts. Those numbers sound huge, and on paper they're impressive. The real question is, does that power translate into a usable experience for a typical living room? And at what cost in terms of space, power draw, and integration with the rest of your system? First off, who should even consider a pair of these subs? If you're a serious home theater enthusiast who already has a high-end main speaker lineup, a large room, think 20 feet or more, and you like to watch action movies or listen to music at levels that truly fill the space, the PB3000R Evolution could be a good match. The oversized driver is built to move a lot of air, which means it can deliver deep, controlled bass that stays tight even at high volumes. In my research, people who set up a dedicated home theater room or a mini theater in a basement are the ones who actually get the most out of that power. If you're living in a small apartment, or you just want a modest thump for a compact 2-channel setup, you'll likely be overpaying for capabilities that you'll never tap. Now, let's talk about the actual daily usability. The PB3000R Evolution arrives in a sleek black-ash finish that blends well with most core, which is a small but nice plus if you care about aesthetics. The 2-unit bundle means you have to plan for placement, ideally one at each side of your listening position, or tucked behind a sofa if you have limited wall space. Because the driver is a long-throw design, the sub tends to be a little deeper than a typical 12-inch unit, so you need to make sure you have at least a foot of clearance behind it. In terms of wiring, the subs are powered, so they just need a standard 120V outlet and a single RCA subin from your AV receiver. Setting the crossover is straightforward. SVS provides a dedicated app that lets you fine-tune the phase, volume, and crossover up to 120 Hz, which means you can dial in a sound that matches your room acoustics without hunting for external devices. One practical strength that becomes evident when you actually try these subs is the way they handle low-frequency transitions. The driver's overhung motor design allows the cone to move more freely at the very low end, so you'll hear a clean, sustained rumble in that 2030 Hz window that most 12-inch subs struggle to produce. If you stream the newest blockbusters on a 4K HDR system, you'll notice that explosions, low-ranged musical scores, and even the subtle rumble of a car engine feel more realistic. In a home theater test, the subs kept the bass tight enough that dialogue remained clear, avoiding the boomy effect that can mask mids and highs. That's a practical advantage for anyone who wants cinematic fidelity without sacrificing vocal intelligibility. On the flip side, the sheer power of the PB3000R Evolution brings a few hidden trade-offs. First, the continuous 1,200 watt Class D amp draws a significant amount of electricity. If you're on a tight electrical budget, or you're in a region where your circuit capacity is limited, you may need to upgrade your home wiring or at least ensure the circuit you plug them into isn't already feeding other high-draw devices. Second, the sub size and weight are notable. Each cabinet is roughly 50 pounds, so moving them for cleaning or rearranging furniture isn't a trivial task. That's something to think about if you anticipate needing to reposition equipment frequently. Another practical weakness is the lack of built-in room correction beyond the basic phase and crossover adjustments. SVS's app is useful, but it doesn't do the kind of auto-room EQ that some competitors bundle. If your listening space is irregular, say, a non-rectangular room or one with lots of reflective surfaces, you'll have to spend time manually tweaking the settings or adding external room correction hardware. For many owners, that might be fine, but it does add a layer of setup complexity that you might not expect from a plug-and-play product. Value for money is always a tough metric with high-end audio gear. The SVS PB3000R Evolution pair sits in the premium price tier, and while the headline specs are impressive, the real savings come from not having to buy a third-party amplifier or an external DSP. The